I know. I know exactly why you're here. You watched The Fall of the House of Usher, or maybe you didn't watch it, but you do want to know how it all ends. No worries, I got you. Sometimes you watch a movie or TV series and the conclusion is, well, unclear. So let me explain to you exactly what happens at the end of The Fall of the House of Usher. Picture this. Two pretty ruthless siblings, super set on locking in their massive fortune and a bright future for their family. They're building a whole dynasty, but here's the kicker. Things start going south when their heirs, the next in line to take over the family legacy, start dying off one by one. It's like a real-life horror story. Now let's dive into the crazy, twisted stuff that Edgar Allan Poe cooked up in his mind. This is where all the spine-chilling moments begin, and it's bound to keep you on the edge of your seat. And now the grand finale, how the Usher bloodline, with all its secrets and darkness, meets its seriously terrifying end. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Check this out. There are these two siblings, right? They've got their eyes on this guy's fortune, so what do? They pull off something dark and twisted. They bury this poor guy alive, sealing him behind a wall of cement, all in the hope of cashing in on his riches. It's like something out of a horror flick. But then, as night falls, they cross paths with a lady bartender named Verna. But here's the kicker. Verna is no ordinary bartender. She's like secretly the devil in disguise. And guess what she offers these greedy siblings? She dangles fame in front of them, like, I'll make you famous, but here's the catch. The catch is that their entire family, no matter how old their kids and grandkids get, will drop dead just before they do. It's some creepy deal she's putting on the table. If you're enjoying this review so far, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Let YouTube know you want to see more content like this. Now, you'd think most people would run the other way, but these siblings? Nope, they're greedy and power hungry. They don't even think twice about the consequences. They're all like, deal, let's do it. And that's how they signed their fate, agreeing to this dark pact with Verna, who's basically the devil herself. It's like a lesson in the dangers of being too greedy and making deals with the ultimate dark force. Verna, who's like the embodiment of the ultimate dark force, goes on this seriously dark mission. She starts knocking off Roderick Usher's kids, one by one, and trust me, she's got some creative punishments in mind. She's out to give them what she thinks they deserve. Now let's talk about Roderick's granddaughter. This girl's all innocent and kind, like she's done nothing wrong. So when it's time to deal with her, Verna takes a different approach. Instead of making her suffer, she goes for a peaceful end, sparing her from any pain. It's a real-life lesson about how justice can sometimes be pretty harsh, especially when you're dealing with someone as dark and unforgiving as Verna. She's like the ultimate force of darkness, and she's not playing nice with the Ushers. It's a twisted tale for sure. So, at the end of The Fall of the House of Usher, things get seriously intense. Madeline, who had been buried alive, somehow comes back to life inside her sealed coffin. This is where it gets super creepy. She goes completely bonkers from being trapped in that coffin, and then she breaks free. Now, here's the kicker. She goes after her brother Roderick, and it's not a friendly reunion. She straight up attacks him, choking the life out of him. The whole place is already on fire because of some burning coals, and that's when things really hit the fan. The house, this super eerie Usher mansion, starts falling apart. I mean, it's like the walls are caving in and everything's collapsing. The whole place is coming down, and guess what? The Usher siblings, Madeline and Roderick, get swallowed up by the falling house. That's the end of the Usher bloodline. It's like a wild ending that's straight out of a horror movie. But wait, there's another version of this ending. In this one, Madeline doesn't just go after Roderick. She actually manages to break out of her coffin and goes on the attack. It's a crazy struggle between the siblings, and it's not pretty. Both of them end up losing their lives in this intense showdown. If you're hungry for more TV and movie review content, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Now back to the video. Meanwhile, our trusty narrator, probably freaked out of their mind, decides it's time to hightail it out of there. Can't blame them. The Usher house is falling apart. People are fighting to the death, and it's just chaos. So, in a nutshell, you've got two possible endings. In one, the Usher mansion crumbles, taking Madeline, Roderick, and Bristol with it. In the other, Madeline and Roderick meet their end in a vicious fight, and the narrator wisely makes a run for it. It's all pretty intense, and definitely not your typical happy ending. When the Usher house finally crumbles, there's this spooky moment. A black crow swoops in and lands on what's left of the wrecked mansion. It perches there, giving off a seriously eerie vibe. As for Auguste, he's still standing there, taking in the sight of the once-upon-a-time Usher mansion turned to rubble. Now, here's where it gets even creepier. That crow, it's not just hanging out on the ruins. Nope, it's staring right at Auguste, like it's got its beady eyes fixed on him. You can bet Auguste feels a shiver run down his spine. The crow's gaze is so intense that Auguste can't help but feel a bit spooked. So he decides it's time to make himself scarce. He takes a step back, and with every nerve tingling, he slowly backs away from the crow and the ruins of the Usher mansion. It's like the perfect eerie ending to a crazy story. Now, before we dive in, let me say this. Your next movie night is about to become legendary. It's time to level up your movie watching game. Imagine the perfect movie night with all the gear and gadgets that turn your living room into a mini theater. From popcorn machines to cozy blankets, immersive sound, plush seating, and even home theater projectors, everything you need for your dream movie setup is just a click away. Don't miss out on the chance to transform your movie nights into unforgettable experiences. So take action now. Explore these fantastic selection of movie products and elevate your movie nights to a whole new level. Simply click on the link in the description or pinned in the comments section. If you purchase anything by clicking on the affiliate link, I will receive a commission. Now back to our movie. Once everything's wrapped up, Auguste Dupin pays a visit to the Usher family's graves. They're all bunched together, resting in peace. As he stands there by the tombstones, he has a heart-to-heart chat with Roderick. He lets Roderick in on his plan to head back home to his wife and kids. Dupin, in his own way, is telling Roderick that he may not have the Usher's fortune, but he's got something just as precious. He's alive and kicking, and he's got a loving family waiting for him back home. It's like a reminder that money isn't everything. Sure, the Ushers had all the riches in the world, but Dupin knows that having people who care about you is worth more than any treasure. So, as he leaves those tombstones, it's not about what's in your bank account, but who's in your heart that really counts. As Auguste's ready to leave the cemetery, guess who's back? Yep, that black crow makes a comeback, landing right on the Usher family's tombstone. It's like it's got its beady eyes locked onto Auguste. Auguste's no dummy. He remembers that same crow perched up on the Usher house after it went down in flames. And this time, he's not sticking around for any creepy crow business. He decides to hightail it out of there, making a beeline back home to his wife and kids. Here's the twist. Those Usher siblings, Roderick and his sister, sold their souls for fame and fortune. But it was a risky deal, one that cost them their family and a long, peaceful life. Auguste, though, took a different path. He didn't go for any devilish deals, and guess what? He's still living it up, enjoying a longer life and keeping his family close. In the end, it's like a big old gotcha moment. Auguste and Verna, they're the ones who get the last laugh. It's a pretty clear lesson. Making deals with that kind of darkness might seem tempting, but it's a road best left untraveled. As Auguste heads out of there, that crow does something wild. It transforms into Verna, who's basically the devil in this story. She's not in a hurry, taking her time, and one by one, she places a little something on each of the Usher family's tombstones. These aren't just random items. They're special, with a meaning tied to each person in the Usher clan. It's like she's leaving a piece of their history behind. And that's the end. If you would like to see the full review for this movie, please click on the suggested link, and I'll see you in the next review.